Richrod dropping more bombs on Inside the Gun the other day. Are we officially done with the transfer portal? It sounds like it.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where it's Paul After Dark. We're talking some more West Virginia sports, obviously, and we're excited to do so. Going to be brought to you by Game Time. And look, right now, if you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. That's just how it is. We're on dog watch. I've been tasked with the heavy load of picking two freshmen that I think are going to make an impact this year for the West Virginia football team. And is Richrod stuck in the past with this? Because I did a little poll. I asked a few people. There are people out there that feel like he's stuck in the past with this proclamation. I got numbers for them. So let's get into it and listen first to what Richrod had to say about this new, I don't want to say new philosophy. It's more like an old philosophy. Credit to Inside the Gun.
Next year, we'll have more high school guys than portal guys, probably a lot more. Recruiting's going, we think, really well, and we're getting a lot of talented guys. But we're not, I tell recruits, I'm not guaranteeing they'll start the day they get on campus, but I don't recruit anybody to be backups. So if we're recruiting a guy, it's because we think he has an opportunity to contribute right away.
Did you hear that? A lot more high school guys than portal guys next year. Is that feasible at West Virginia? That's the question I'm asking to you guys. Because I'll tell you right now, absolutely it's more important to have more high school players. 1,000%. And I got the numbers to back it up. Here's the thing. I believe it's the best way. I just don't know if we can sustain it. Go Dogs is in the chat, right? He supports Georgia. Georgia can do it for sure. Let's get to the numbers. What do they say? If you look at last year's college football playoff numbers, we'll just start with that. I did a deep dive on the playoff. 68% of the starters in the final college football playoff game were high school signees. 32% came from the portal. And if you get to the semifinalists, it gets even more condensed. 82% of starters were high school recruits, with only 18% coming from the portal. Elite teams lean heavily on development and not portal. I do think there are going to be teams each year that rely heavily on the portal, like an Indiana or an Ole Miss, that win, but I don't believe that it's sustainable. Let's keep looking at this. Clemson had 0 transfer starters. You know how crazy that is in this day and age? 100% high school across the board. Georgia, 1 transfer starter, 95% high school. Boise State had 2 transfers, 91% high school. What about SMU, Arizona State, and Indiana? Oh, they had 15 or 16 transfer starters each, right? So they were a couple teams that did it the other way, but I think we all could see they weren't quite at the level the other teams were. Ohio State had 7 starters. They won it all. Caleb Downs, Will Howard. I mean, so, the core was high school recruits, though. Tennessee had 8 transfer starters, and Oregon had 11 transfer starters. I think once you get over 10, 12 starters, you're really getting into the territory where maybe you're not going to win all the way. Now, can you be successful? Can you win 8 games, 9 games? Absolutely, I think you can with a bigger haul of transfer portals. If you're talking about yearly, a philosophy, But Richrod's saying, no, I want to do it the other way. I believe that's the right way. I'm not saying he's stuck in the past. Other people were. James Franklin said over relying on the portal can compromise long-term stability. I think that's exactly what Richrod thinks too. And the plan to prioritize high school recruiting at West Virginia is one that has always been there and has always needed to be there. But the catch is this: can West Virginia keep those recruits financially? The 2024 playoff data screams high school recruits are still king. 82% of the semifinalist starters were homegrown talent. Richrod's betting on this to happen at WVU, but in the NIL era, can West Virginia afford to hold on to their talent and keep them from going to richer programs? I've heard people say, yeah, because all we're going to do now, I think, with the switch to the cap is recruit like we always have, develop like we always have, get portal players where we need them, and then just use the cap to pay our players. But what if we get really good teams like we had in 2005, 6, or 7 again? Do you honestly think about this, if we had a team that had something similar to the Pat White, Steve Slayton, era teams with that offensive line like it was and the defense like it was, how many of those guys do you think we could keep? Honestly. Pat White would have been gone. Steve Slayton would have been gone. Owen Schmidt might have stayed, obviously, but another player's may not be from West Virginia. So 9 times out of 10, and Owen Schmidt's going to be gone. 3 of your offensive linemen are probably going to be gone because it's not like only one program is going to be coming after him. It's multiple programs. You're going to get picked apart. At least I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. One thing Ren Baker's doing that's going to help, and I think this is where they're aligned. Rich Rodriguez and Ren Baker are aligned here. I think they're taking this new NIL situation, moving it inside West Virginia and creating an LLC based out of it, a 501c3, as they like to call it, nonprofit. And then they put Ren Baker in charge of the LLC. What that allows them to do is stave off Freedom of Information Act inquiries, like Mike Casazza. He's the king. And at the end of the day, at the very least, people can't use the FOIA to see what our kids are making. Now, can they just ask their agent? Of course they can. Can they just ask the player? Sure, probably can. Is that tampering? I don't know. There's a lot to figure out. If the 20.5, and it should be, by the way, it should be enough. 20.5, 15 should be enough to pay the majority of your good players. It should be. I mean, depending on how good they are, and what the market is. Hopefully the market doesn't get blown up, right? Hopefully the market stays not non-volatile. Hopefully with Wisconsin suing Miami, that prevents tampering with contracts. Hopefully so, Curtis. Absolutely, in the chat. Good point. So I have thoughts on this. I think it's a great, an awesome idea, and I'm glad he's doing it. We've seen it with Dana Holgerson. Before the portal era was the portal era, Dana Holgerson was the portal king. We were bringing in probably, sometimes 5, 6 portal guys in a year, which was a ton back then. It worked out at quarterback, I think, with Will Greer. It worked out in other spots. But because we brought in so many portal guys over the course of 4 or 5 years, our scholarships, the cupboard, by the time Neil Brown took over, we saw it. The cupboard was totally bare. Neil Brown really did deserve a year 0. No matter whether he was a good coach or not, Neil Brown definitely did need year 0. Because what he walked into was absolutely one of the worst handoffs in recent memory. Now, it's not the worst in West Virginia history, from what I understand. Not even the second worst, but it's one of the worst talent handoffs in West Virginia history from one coach to another. It was a bad one. We had no offensive line, and that was the worst part. You could get by with most other things, but not no offensive line, and we had no offensive line. We had to go all in on Zach Frazier right away. So, anyways, a couple other thoughts on this. We'll go to break first. I got some more numbers on what we're talking about here and the retention and different things, like what's it going to take for West Virginia. I got pros and cons for high school versus portal. And then we're going to look at some freshman dogs. Like I said, I've been tasked, if you will, to find some freshman dogs, a couple players that I think will impact this season, this year. Stick around for that. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time. When it comes to Game Time, they're doing a big – and look, the NBA playoffs are literally on right now. So, look, we may as well just admit it. If you want to experience an atmosphere like tonight's playoffs live, this year's matchups are already delivering, right? If you want into that, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get great seats, even for the playoff games and the biggest games. Prices on the app actually drop closer to tip, and last-minute deals are killer. Panoramic seat views, no surprise fees at checkout. It's a total game changer. I love that I can see my exact seat in the app before I buy. No surprise fees at checkout. All you got to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Create the account, redeem the code, and read the terms. They do apply. LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today, and download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, they're guaranteed, where you'll answer the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. In segment 2, I crack a do to ask you a question. Camden Goforth is in the chat. What's up, my dude? Hey, bro, I played if he's still in the chat, I played Cam's, you know what you need, bro, for that, I was just thinking about this today. That highlight tape you got where you're just dumping dudes over and over again, send that to me or send a version of it to me. We'll try to set it with the music. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. That would be cool as hell, man. Matter of fact, we could just put it on really quick since Camden Goforth's in the chat, because, I mean, you know, could he be one of them freshman dogs? I don't know. I certainly think next year he will be. This one is going to be for this year. So let's look at Cam Goforth really quick, because I really love there he is. All right, so we're doing an audible really quick just because, I mean, it's late night. It's Paul After Dark. No music, film doesn't lie. One of my favorite cut-ups in a long time. Camden Goforth just absolutely dogging people over and over again. Literally, a couple of these dudes, I want to know if they even survived. Just an awesome cut-up. Like I was telling somebody the other day, I'm surprised he didn't get just some huge offers based off of this cut-up alone, which, I mean, he did, obviously, West Virginia. But, God, man, can you believe that this kid was almost about to go to Coastal? What a swing and a miss. Oh, Cameron, are you in the chat still? I wonder if he's still in the chat. Hey, if you're still in the chat, man, did you wrestle? And was this a wrestling move? I just want to know, man. Is this right here a wrestling move, the spin off the guy like that? What a crazy move that was. He was burying dudes, man. If he jumped off, I'll holler at him later about it. Yeah, but yeah, Cam Goforth, man. I can't wait for this kid next year. He'll absolutely be on my list of impact freshmen. I mean, you don't have a several minute long cut up if you just absolutely pancaking everybody if you're not a physical freak, and he is that. He's got film right now of him bench pressing, like squatting 600 pounds, like just all kinds of dumb stuff. Then there's one on here where it looks like the kid gets in a train wreck. Trying to find it. I mean, all of them really. There goes the helmet on this kid. Boom! Look at that one. Good gracious. Boom. I mean, that's insane, y'all. Boom. Okay. I was going to make sure it was full view. Boom. Good Lord. I mean, this kid here, man. Hey, this is next level stuff. I mean, you could say you pancake block people, and then there's footage like this where it's like, holy shit. This dude's nasty, man. Loves contact. Yeah, I Goforth footage is like next level. It's legendary, and who knows? Someday he could be in the NFL, and people will look back at this like, how did people not see this coming? Right? I absolutely think it's going to be one of them things where people are going to look back and say, we should have signed that kid. We should have signed that kid. All right. Back to the discussion really quick. So, pros and cons of high school versus transfer portal are, in my opinion, these things here. For high school recruiting, obviously you got foundation for stability, 3 to 5 years, building continuity, which is why 82% of the semifinalist starters were high school players. Team chemistry, players like West Virginia stars of the past, Pat White, Steve Slayton, grew together. They fostered cohesion, right? Like the Rutgers teams with Greg Ciano. How hard do you think it was to get Rutgers to where they were? But he was able to do it. I mean, that's kudos to him, right? What about development potential? Obviously, young players to mold in a high tempo system over the course of 3 to 5 years. It's a big deal. Cost effective initially, I think, because high school recruits are going to be cheaper to sign than chop transfers, obviously. And then 247 Tom Sports Tom Loy says about 40% cheaper on the average. So it could definitely help the budget. Cultural fit, you can absolutely identify and plug in early your guys, and if they're not ready right away, they can transfer, right? So actually you can even refine it even more than you used to be able to. Before, if you miss on a guy, you're stuck with him for 3-4 years. Unless, there are certain circumstances, I'm sure, where you could get rid of a guy. But generally speaking, he just rides the bench for 3 or 4 years, and that's it. He's a scholarship spot. Now it's like you can have that conversation with him like, hey, we're probably going to move on from you, right? And so I think you can refine it even more. Now, on another flip side of that, I think at the end, you may end up missing on guys that you give up on too early. Maybe a guy finally gets it in year 4 or 5. I'm sure there are instances of that. I'm an overthinker, but I think there are going to be there are instances of that where a guy finally gets it in year 4 or 5. I'm like, dang, man, it finally clicked for him. The cons are obviously the retention challenges. NIL and revenue sharing make it tough to keep high school recruits. Programs like Tennessee, Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, they more than double our NIL budget for the most part. I know there's a new cap. I get it. But what about outside NIL? Like what's that going to factor in? How is it going to factor in? I have to see first. But, we can't lose a Rick Darius Farmer or a Winston Wright Jr., or although he was actually a good loss as far as in the locker room, but Hakeem Mesidor or whoever you want to point out, obviously Tyke Smith, whatever, you can't lose guys like that. Another thing that's a con about high school players is sometimes they need 2 to 3 years to mature. That can clash with win now expectations. there's also the recruiting competition. Like the portal's rise means high school recruits are going to face stiffer competition for spots as coaches prioritize experienced transfers. So in a way that helps a guy like Richrod, though, in a way, because, kind of some recruits are getting skated by on that they would have been definitely taken somewhere else years ago. The guys on the fringe of Power 4 and Group of 5 are most always Group of 5 now, as to where they used to be always Power 4, like on the fringe. There wouldn't be there. I mean, it was pretty common to get a 2-star guy at the Power 4 level 20 years ago. It happens every now and then. Not now. Transfer portal, you got the immediate impact, like Will Howard last year, or Riley Leonard, or even the kid that went from UCF to Oregon, that Southworth playing for the Browns has slipped my mind all of a sudden. You can fill needs. Obviously, we got 52 incoming transfers this year. We're going to fill some needs, whether that's Jalen Henderson or whether that's, you name a guy, Kimo Makaniole. You're gonna get proven talent, the guys that you don't know what their character is, how they're gonna fit in your locker room, but they have college tape, which is way better than high school tape. And you have retention leverage because they only often stay 1 to 2 years, and you can target those less likely to be poached by elite programs. If you think, this guy's our kind of guy. He's not an elite player, but we can make him effective at what we need at this spot or that spot, and you won't have to worry about him being poached. Like he's that middle ground guy, then you can go that route. And some teams win that way. The cons are obviously the cost. Top transfers demand big NIL deals. At this point in time, before this settlement hit, we saw guys like the kid that went to Duke for $8 million. Nico Maliaba was trying to get in. He was already getting $4 million. He wanted more, or his family wanted more for him, or whatever. But you're talking probably I'd say the best teams are going to have between 6 and 10 million NIL outside of 15 to 17 million in revenue share, right? In the Big 12. Now, outside the Big 12, who knows? And BYU and Texas Tech are going to far surpass those numbers too, probably. But we got to stay inside that top 4, hopefully. Instability, obviously, portal-heavy teams like SMU, who have 59% transfer starters, lost early. I think possibly showing some chemistry issues in the playoff. And evaluation risks. I think, one of the quotes I read was, people think Florida State, the reason they're in the situation they're in is they've had a collapse because of some things that have happened through the portal. And there are reasons guys leave programs. So high school recruiting builds West Virginia's future, keeping the kids in Morgantown when Alabama and Ohio State dangle millions of dollars of NIL are going to be the hurdle for Richrod. And I think the portal offers quick fixes, but at what cost to the future? Those are my overall thoughts on it. Obviously, there is another side to this where West Virginia becomes the poacher and goes and gets a Group of 5 talent or other Power 4 talent that you can maybe want to pay a little more for. And certainly that helps as well. And another thing you could do is this. Let's say you're missing out on some of your guys you like from a high school recruiting standpoint. Well, there are plenty of freshmen that transfer every year that are transfers. It's basically high school recruiting. They've only been in college for a year, right? They're redshirt freshmen or sophomores. I think that's a similar approach you can take. Here's another thing I'll add. I don't know what's going to go on with contracts. If we can get contracts, even just 2 years, I think that you can build a team. You can build a team if you just got 2 years. You just can't do it with one. Can you imagine all those guys from SMU coming back again this next year? It would be super interesting to see. because they were really good in a lot of ways. Go to break. On the other side, what we'll do is freshman dogs, man. I told you we got a couple of freshmen that I've chosen out of all of our freshmen. I expect to hit big this year. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back here, Locked On West Virginia. Saturday night, Paul After Dark. If you're just getting here, Rich Rodriguez said on Inside the Gun, we're going to lead way heavily into high school from here on, or at least next year, and probably try to fill in with Portal where we can. I love that he's doing it. We just went through a bunch of numbers. Over 80% of college football playoff teams had over 80% high school grown players. Clemson had 0 transfer starters. Insanity. So the numbers show it out. If you can bring in 8 to 10 impact guys and spend all your money on your roster that you got, you're in good shape. That's what we need to do at West Virginia. And I'm excited because if we can pull that off, I really believe we can get back to where we used to be under Richrod from 06 to 09 or whatever, even 10 and 12. I mean, hell, if we can get back to 2011, 12, I'll be happy level where we're at least in the top 10 sometimes. This whole thing with us actually just being bad at football, that's new to us. I mean, it's new to us. Like, we've never been Ohio State. I mean, there are years where we've been in Ohio State, but like program-wise, we've never been Ohio State. We've never been Alabama or whatever. But we have absolutely been like Oregon, right? Like we've been Ole Miss, where they're at right now. Like we've been that. We've been where Tennessee is right now for multiple years. We should be able to do that again. I just want to be relevant. And I know when we were relevant, you know, the thing was, I want to win the Natty. I get that. But at the end of the day, I'm fulfilled getting up and watching West Virginia compete. Yeah, if we win a national championship, I'll get on here and cry my eyes out. For sure. That'll happen. I don't even know how I'd react to that. It would be like winning the lottery kind of reaction, right? For me, anyways. But you know, if we could just get back to where we were, though, remember how fun those times were? If you're in my age range, like I lived right through the golden years for West Virginia football. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. All right, let's get to this freshman tape. I think we're going to start with a guy. Where do you guys want to go? Offense or defense first? Let me know in the chat really quick. Offense or defense first? Let you guys make a choice in the chat. We got one offensive guy, one defensive guy that I think will make an impact this year. So let me know down below. We got one for defense. Oh, close, Daniel. Close. I did look at Brandon Caesar. He's not the guy, though. If you guys have watched this show at all, you would know who I'm going to pick, at least one of the guys. One of these guys, I don't know why. You know what? Let's just get to it. All right, so the person I think that I love the most out of everybody, Robbie Martin, I consider next year. No, this is high school, Curtis. If it was overall, then yeah, Cam Bond would have to be on the list. This is freshman, incoming freshman. You know, I think these two guys are guaranteed to make impacts. One is I'll just share the first one first. I'm not saying he's the best of these two, but these are two guys that I'm pretty confident in. Armani Weaver, wide receiver. So if you haven't seen Armani Weaver play yet, get ready for a treat. He's going to play that inside slot position. and he's only got Rodney Gallagher and Man Singleton to deal with in that room. So, in my opinion, anyways, I think he is going to be a very good player. And he was really good last year. He's out of the state of South Carolina at Westside Anderson High School. Here we go. He's on kickoff return. Nice cut. You see those two cuts? Boom. Boom. And he's a blazer. He's a 4-3 guy. 4-4, 4-3 in that range. He's one of those guys that makes people look stupid running. Here he is on the outside. He's 5'10". He's one of those Jock Sanders, Darius Raynaud size kids. But when he gets on his horse, he's not just fast, he's blazing fast. He kind of reminds me of a Mario Alford he's like Mario Alford, really. That's what he reminds me of. He's got that, and because he wears number 5 as well, that's probably another reason. Here he is on defense. He's going to play receiver for West Virginia. But nice pick. Nice job there. For sure. Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, he's got elite speed. That's like his number one attribute, in my opinion. Here he is at the top of your screen. But not only does he have elite speed, but once he gets the ball in his hands, he cuts in and out of traffic, weaves in and out of traffic. He's not just a straight line speed guy. I don't mind straight line speed guys, but I love guys like this so much more that can juke and cut and weave in and out like Tavon did and others, but like obviously Tavon for me is the gold standard. That's a beautiful move off the line. Camera can't even keep up with him. Nice catch. Here he is right down here. I missed him. I thought it was the other guy. Oh, that's right. I keep getting him and his teammate, Kamarius Bomar, confused. Bomar right here. So he came to West Virginia as well, if you didn't know that. Bomar and Weaver were the two best players on that team. They both played receiver, and they're both 4-3, 4-4 guys. If you look at Bomar's highlights at receiver, they're as good as Weaver's is. Seriously. But, as you can see, he just runs right by people. It's not even close. So, and both of these guys, I think we flipped them, didn't we? I don't know for sure. I can't remember. Here he is right here down at the bottom of your screen on defense this time. Just a nice overall play there. So he's a dynamic athlete with the ball in his hands. He's got extremely great speed and vision. I think he's going to be an explosive option for kick return. He's also a two-way athlete, so that's something to remember. Look at him. Did you see that? Did anybody else see what he did right there? Now, I could be wrong, but did you see him look at his teammate and point at this guy as he comes up to guard him? He's like, what's this guy doing? Watch. This guy thinks he can guard me, and he really turned it on right there too, on purpose. That's an awesome play. Am I wrong about that? Let me make sure. Oh, yeah, he definitely called him out right before they ran the route. But look at the cut. Watch this cut he makes to like when he decides to cut and turn that thing on, man. He really cuts. I love it. Look at that speed. So, anyways, I think Weaver's the guy that Richrod's going to love him. You can give him the ball, and I guess he's at camp right now. That's crazy. I hadn't even thought about that. He's on campus right now. Well, you know about that. Get back. They don't know me like that. All right, here he is again. Wide receiver, bottom of your screen. What's he going to do? This guy's playing 10 yards off of him. He's smarter. Will they just flip it out to him? Nope, he's going to run by him anyway. And he did. What a route. Wow, man. Watch this. Watch the cuts he makes down here at the end. 1, 2. Nicely done. He's going to be a problem. I really like him a lot. The more I watch him, oh man, he's going to be a problem for people. And you know what Richrod was saying about guys that can play two ways. I mean, I watched his DB stuff a lot. He can play DB. He could play DB. There's no doubt in my mind. If we had him at DB, I think he would be effective. He is a better receiver, though, for sure. And this is why I like him here, because of plays like this. You can just give it to him. He's going to do something with it. He's probably going to have to add some strength and things like that for sure. But like, if you just want to hand the kid, look at these routes, such good routes. But I mean, if you just want to hand the kid the ball, I guess he was on defense again. That one caught me off guard. Now there's a touchdown. Yeah, so I really excited about what he's going to do for us. But yeah, what I was saying is you can just flip him the ball and into rounds or something for now. But just look how far out in front he is. And you can see when he makes the move, boom, right there. You know what he did too, if you pay attention. Watch this. He looks back at the quarterback about right here. He'll just look back. And a lot of times that'll get somebody, especially an inexperienced DB, to kind of pause for a second. He's got the wheels. If you pause for a split second, he's gone. And that's what he did. Good throw by the quarterback too, by the way. Really good throw by the quarterback. That one went deep. How far did he throw that? He threw it from his 42, basically down to the 1. Good Lord. That thing went 55, 60 yards in the air. What a throw. That kid's arm strength is ridiculous for a high school player. Here he is on defense again. It's cool that we got both of their most skilled players to come with us. Get off me. On defense again. I was hoping it would show more return stuff, but it's not. Maybe I didn't watch the right tape. It's hard to say. Back on offense again. I like these uniforms these kids got on. They kind of like an Ole Miss. Oh, he forgot about him. And blown coverage. So obviously Bomar too, though. Armani Weaver or Armoni Weaver. I'm not really sure. I guess it'd be Armoni Weaver. Will be somebody I really just think that we need to be so excited about. 5'10", 170 pounds. Really, really good player. Yeah, he's going to be someone to really keep an eye on, in my opinion. So, and I don't really know much about South Carolina high school football. I don't know it's got to be good. It's probably, I don't mean to put our state down, but I'm sure it's probably better than West Virginia high school football. I'm not really sure. Although our football has gained a few levels here lately, I don't know if it's hard to say. I do believe 20 years ago, West Virginia high school football was really, really bad. Really, really bad. I mean, it was so bad. Like I grew up in West Virginia, and then whenever I got in high school, my family got a settlement and we moved up here to Southern Ohio, which is on the border of Ohio and West Virginia. And I went to a school that was Division 5 in Ohio, which is like, I think I graduated with 118 people or something like that. And we went up and played Huntington High School my freshman year. I didn't even get to play, but I think we beat them by 25, 30 points. They had 4,000 kids at their school. We had 300. It's just crazy how the talent level difference was nuts from Ohio to West Virginia. But anyway, And so did other teams that gone up there and beat them. Portsmouth, I think, did. Ironton definitely did. But it's gotten so much better. I'll be curious to see if West Virginia high school ball holds up anymore. All right, let's get to my favorite. And I don't mean it. I love Armani Weaver. I really do. I love Bomar as well. But I'll tell you what, guys. I just got to be honest. Cameron Dwire is another breed. I love this kid. I really do. I predict him to be the biggest impact player of the entire class. I've been saying it for months, and I'll absolutely stand on that business no matter what. He's going to be a year away, I think. I don't think he'll make an impact, or not a year away. He's probably half a season away. I don't know, but I know he'll make an impact this year. But as far as like of the freshmen that are coming in that are going to make the biggest impact out of this class, I think it's going to be him. And I'll tell you why as we go. Do you see why already? This is a linebacker that probably runs 4.6, 4.5. I mean, he's fast. I'd love to ask him what his 40 time is. He's a converted wide receiver to linebacker, similar to Trey Lathan, who was also that. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this kid, man. Yeah, he's got wheels on him for sure. Boom. Like he's just one of those kids that you gotta love. On the outside, really gets after it. Yeah. And in coverage here as well. No chance against him. Uh-oh, we got a Pitt fan in the comments, I see. All right, so we're already kind of getting a little bit past time to go here. So yeah, I really love Dwire though, guys. I think he's going to be a really good player for us, no doubt about it. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much all I got. I'd like to show you guys one more player, but I don't know. I feel like, do we have time? Let me look. Maybe we do. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's my show. I can stay as long as I want to. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go show you one more player really quick. I'll hurry up and get this pulled up. So I just realized I made a mistake is why I'm doing this, to be honest with you guys. I didn't want to admit it, but I'm going to admit it. I don't like to lie. So I looked up a next year player in Cam Dwire. I meant to type in Cameron Torber, and I typed in Cameron Dwire. And I realized that as soon as I started watching tape, although Cameron Dwire is really good, like if he was in this class, yeah, he would probably be absolutely in that conversation. Just got lucky his name is so close to Cameron Torber's. So what we're going to do is actually pull up the real 2025 guy that I like. And it's easy. That's an easy two names to get confused, obviously. Still learning. But yeah, Cameron Torber is so everything I said about Dwire being a former wide receiver, I don't know if that's true or not. Cameron Torber is. So I made a mistake, but this is Cam Torber out of Hoover High School, my absolute favorite player in the 2025 class. Dwyer's in 26. But yeah, a linebacker that can absolutely scoot. 6'4", 235 pounds. What a monster. And I mean, this kid can really run too. He's got insane closing speed. And, he does so much well that he can be whatever he wants to be, in my opinion. And this is right here. It says it right there. Closing speed. Watch him run right here. It's truly impressive. That play right there, every time I watch it, totally shocks me that he's that fast. Like, it really does. The closing speed on this kid is insane. Zack Alli is going to be able to do so much with it. Here it is again. I mean, he gets on his hump and rolls, baby. 6'4", 235. He's not 6 feet. He's 6'4", 235. Insane, man. I don't know how people missed on this kid. I mean, he had people that wanted him, don't get me wrong. I think technically, he's got some things he's got to clean up and things. If you look in pass coverage, he's got some stuff that he's still learning. But as a pass rusher and as a blitzer and as a coming up and making a play on the ball, good luck, buddy. He's going to hunt you down and really hurt you. He's my favorite player of the class that they just brought in. And I think he's another one of those kids. That's so sick right there. Just a little swim move, right? He actually does it on back-to-back plays. So, I think I tell you guys this all the time, but this is a move they teach. This is a move they teach D tackles and D ends, right? It's just a simple club with whichever hand, and then you either swim or rip under. It sounds so simple, but man, is it so effective when you do it right. Right there's the club, and he just swims right over. And like I said the last time we watched this video, look at this guy's hips, which way they're pointing. I mean, it makes it so easy for him to do it. No wonder he got beat. This is in Alabama, by the way. Yeah, I love Torber. I just think that the size, especially the length, the size, the ability, everything you can say, as long as this kid stays healthy, I think he makes an impact this year at West Virginia. Yeah, that really threw me off because the other guy was not. I mean, I knew Torber was number 5. When I seen that, I was like, well, he's number 5. This tape don't look familiar though. Then I looked down, it said Dwire. I'm like, oh crap. I've got Cameron Dwire on, not Cameron Torber. Easy mistake to make. But and it's live, so it's not like I can go back and edit that out or something. So this kid can really get it, man. Curious how you guys feel about him down below. Let me know how you feel about Cameron Torber. He is a heat-seeking missile out there. Heat-seeking missile, no doubt. Just such great closing speed and so nasty when he gets to the ball. I think he comes in as a freshman, and I think he plays right away. I think he'll be involved right away. That's my opinion. I mean, whether that's on special teams or what, not sure yet. I do expect him to be in the linebacker rotation at some point. As long as he can learn it, he'll be in. He's as talented or more talented than almost everybody in that room already, in my opinion. So, I mean, you got Chase Wilson, you got Ben Bogle, you got Ben Cutter, you got a couple other guys, but I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't be in the rotation. So, all right, guys, I just wanted to show you. I absolutely love Mr. Torber. Can't wait. Every time I watch his film, I get excited because he's 6'4", 235, 40 pounds. If he was running like this at 6'1", 220 pounds, I'd be impressed. Much less 6'4", 240. So those of you listening on podcasts, I highly suggest go check out Cameron Torber from Hoover, which is one of the most famous high schools in Alabama. He is a heat-seeking missile that can absolutely really run. He's a guy I'm in love with as far as West Virginia goes for next year. So it'd be fun to keep track of, guys. Thanks for joining me live here late, Paul After Dark. We talked about Richrod on this episode. We flew out a bunch of numbers that defend his stance on high school players over portal players going forward after this year. Over 80% of the teams in the playoff had more than 80% high school players that were born and bred to be in their programs. The Final Four had even more. The teams that were out of the playoff early had anything like 50% or more portal players starting, I think. I think what you get, I think as long as you can keep into that 20 to 30% range, it's okay if you go out and get 10 or 15 guys in the portal. I think that's great, especially if you just need a guy here and a guy there. But the nucleus and I think the same thing in basketball too. Unless you can, in basketball, I truly believe though, if you can just get 2 years, if you can have the same team for 2 years in basketball, you'll be in great shape these days. But in football, you really need 3 years with the same teammates, I think, in a lot of cases, to really, really be good. So we're on that journey. Let's see what they look like after this year. Now, if we go out and win 10 games this year, I don't know. Maybe Richrod will change that philosophy, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's unfortunate. The numbers are against us. I mean, Signetti, what he did last year, and others have done. Rhett Lashley did it last year with a lot of transfers at SMU, but it's few and far between, obviously. So yes, Richrod has not lost his mind. He's not stuck in the past. He's absolutely right. And I agree with him. So let me know down below. How do you feel about it? Do you think we should stick with the portal draw like we did this year? Do you think we should go half and half? Or do you think it should be 70-30? Give me the breakdown down below. I would love to hear from you about it. And thank you for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network where we talk about your team every single day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'm out.